Okay, y'all, it's officially summer and technically we're on a break.
But we couldn't leave our real fans hanging. When we recharge and get ready for season 2, we're bringing back some of your favorite episodes from season 1.
These are the episodes you loved, shared, and messaged us about. So if you're listening again, enjoy the throwback. And if you missed them the first time, now's your chance to catch up.
They're perfect for summer road trips, lazy afternoons, or if you need just a dose of 80s nostalgia. And hey, share them with someone who loves 80s movies as much as you do so they can join us for season 2.
So grab your shades, settle in, and enjoy the rewind. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Missy, and this is Real Sisters Rewind.
Join us as we go back to the 80s. Hi, sister.
Hey, sister. Here we go.
Here we go. This is so exciting, everyone. Welcome to Real Sisters Rewind, back to the 80s. This is a podcast for people who love movies and wish they were as good now as they were back then. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Missy, and today we're diving into one of the most magical and heartwarming films of all time, and the biggest film of the 80s, E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. But before we dive into the story, Amanda, why don't we share some fascinating facts? How do you like how I said that? Fascinating facts about this iconic film.
Absolutely. So E.T. Extraterrestrial was released on June 11th, 1982. We're going early.
It was early 80s, but I have to interrupt you because I wonder if you know what else came out in this month, actually the weekend after E.T.
Any guesses? No, but I feel very sorry for them.
Right? Not just the next weekend, but then about the next year, you feel sorry for them. Okay, let me see if I can think of a clue. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 quick ones because you'll guess it quickly. Your room was decorated like this and you were obsessed with it.
It has to be Annie.
It's Annie. You're right. Maybe that's one we might cover. Who knows?
We definitely will. And that is wild because I totally did not realize that. And now I don't feel so sorry for them because the first time I went to go see Annie, it was sold out. Story for another time. But
okay. Yeah.
All right. So thinking about that, 1982, that means it was over 40 years.
Oh, so long ago.
So long ago. It was, of course, directed by the legendary Steven Spielberg and written by Melissa Matheson. Spielberg was inspired to make the film based on an imaginary friend he created after his parents' divorce.
You know what? That's right. I actually saw a documentary about E.T. and Spielberg was on the doc talking about that this had been his passion project since he was a kid, like a long time. And you know, it was his kid passion project, and it was a perfect family movie, right? It was rated PG. And back in the day, I think this is a fascinating fact. I don't know if you will, but it had a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes. So it was a movie for kids. That's pretty long, especially back then. I mean, I know now we're used to these long, epic films, but am I crazy or am I right?
No, but I wonder if in their mind it wasn't marketed so much as a kid's movie as a family movie.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. It was made on a budget of about $10.5 million, which by today's standards is pretty modest, right? But
Yes.
What this movie achieved, Amanda, it was nothing short of spectacular.
I know, I agree. And I just want to say before we get into even more detail about how spectacular this is, thinking about what we were talking about earlier, that this was a passion project for him since he was a kid,
Mhm.
is going to be very telling, I think, as we talk about this movie and some of the cool techniques he used as he was directing and filming this movie. But
Yes.
it's spectacular. On its opening weekend, E.T. earned a whopping 11.8 million. So it made up its budget in the very first opening weekend.
Made an
And
extra what? 1 million and change. That's not too bad.
yep. And in total, it grossed about 435 million in the US and about 792 million worldwide. And it held the record for the highest grossing film of all time for 11 years until another fabulous, just so imaginative Steven Spielberg film came along. Huge hit, Jurassic Park, and that took its place, but not until 1993.
Oh, so it held the record for a long time. Do you know what movie is the highest grossing of all time? You may not know because I am
Um,
fairly sure I haven't seen it.
Titanic. Well, like I was going to say Titanic, but if
No, but
not it,
that's a great guess. No,
what?
Avatar.
Haven't seen it.
I mean, I've seen pieces of it and I know about the blue people, but not my type of movie. Haven't seen it, but apparently a lot of people have.
Oh yes. Did you had been on the ride in Disney?
I did, and that was fantastic. It was a great ride at Disney.
It would have been even better if you had seen
If
the
I had seen
movie.
the movie. All right, back to ET, back to ET. We can't forget about the music, right? The soundtrack was composed by the incredible John Williams, whose score is it's instantly recognizable even today, right? And he won the Academy Award for Best Original Score for ET, one of 4 Oscars the film won. And it was also nominated for 5 more, including Best Picture and Best Director.
So you say nominated. So were they only nominated? I really.
Only nominated. Do you know what
Oh,
won Best Picture that year? Gandhi.
Annie. Wait,
Gandhi.
what?
No, not Annie. Gandhi. Gandhi. But this is what I found fascinating when I was researching this.
Wait,
Un-
Gandhi?
Gandhi. We didn't see it, but it
No.
won Best Picture. But this is what I have to tell you, sister, is
Okay.
that Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman was also nominated as Best Picture alongside E.T. and Gandhi. And there were a few others, but I don't know what they were. But I just found Tootsie kind of crazy.
Hysterical.
Yes,
Hysterical. And the fact that you made me watch it when I was in high school.
I
It,
did make you watch it.
I will never forget. I will never forget it. But
And
what an array, like what an odd group. Like we've got E.T., Tootsie, and
I
Gandhi.
know, right? And here's an interesting fact, too. Richard Attenborough, who directed Gandhi, won also for Best Director. And do you know who he is?
No.
Okay. He is the grandfather in Jurassic Park that says, "Welcome to Jurassic Park."
You are kidding me.
No, and isn't that ironic? Because Steven Spielberg directed him in Jurassic Park.
Yeah. He was like, man, you were so good directing that Gandhi movie. I gotta get you in Jurassic Park.
Gotta get you in.
Well, speaking of the Academy Award, sister, E.T. also won for Best Sound, Best Visual Effects, of course, and Best Sound Editing. The special effects were really groundbreaking for their time, especially E.T., the actual physical E.T. himself, who was brought to life through a mix of animatronics and puppetry, which is interesting because I'm thinking about, we're just talking about Jurassic Park and how the visual effects of Jurassic Park were groundbreaking in 1993. So
Yes.
that's really like a big part of Steven Spielberg's career.
Yeah. And, talking about E.T. and the puppetry, the same person who designed King Kong designed E.T. And, there are places in that King Kong movie that you see humanity in him. And I think that's what we see in E.T. as well, right?
For sure, it's their eyes and their face.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I want to just say a couple of more things real quick about the brilliant Spielberg and his direction in this movie. Because even though he didn't win Best Director, he had such vision, right? He had had a long time to think about it since he was a little boy. But if you notice, you didn't see any adult faces except Mary the mom for like the first 2/3 of the movie. And it's because it was so children focused. And Spielberg filmed it. All of the cameras were mounted on a 3 to 5 foot level because he wanted the movie to give a kid's point of view. And then one other thing he did that I think was brilliant and not at all the way most movies are filmed was the filming schedule, because he actually shot this movie in chronological order of the scenes rather than based on the availability of like location shots and actor schedules, etc. The movie was filmed chronologically so that those young actors could really connect ET and the storyline together in a really authentic way.
You can totally see that in the movie. Like I
Yes,
often like
yes.
now, like because I was so as an adult rewatching it, I was so impressed with the children in the movie. And even though it is from this point of view and perspective,
Mhm.
he doesn't treat it like a a kiddie movie. It's still,
Right.
very like powerful. Um Clearly, for all those reasons alone, hands down, he should have won Best Director. So I think we should start a petition.
Maybe do a recall. Right.
Yes.
We have to talk about Drew Barrymore, who
Oh my
played
God.
Gertie, right? She was just 6 years old during filming this, and her performance was just so natural and so endearing that Spielberg would often allow her, Amanda, to like ad lib her lines to capture that genuine childlike wonder, right? And also, she landed this role because she actually auditioned for Carol Ann from Poltergeist.
Well, I am glad that that didn't work out.
I know, he's
Um,
like, "Hey, I'm doing another movie that you're perfect for, but this one's not it."
and
Right?
it's true. Like, think about it. I
Yeah,
mean, when you think about Carol Ann and Poltergeist, she's like that perfect image of the, kind of spooky movie little
they're
girl.
back.
Yeah, and it doesn't really fit with Drew
Yes.
Barrymore. Drew Barrymore is much more of that cute little curious Gertie that we see in ET. So again, way to go casting Steven Spielberg with that. Um, I don't know if you know this, but it's good for Drew Barrymore that she was in ET instead because I believe all the people, not all, but a lot of the people in Poltergeist, it's rumored that the people in that movie were cursed because they've had like a lot of
Oh.
terrible things happen to them.
Yes, I have heard that before. Yes, the poltergeist
So
person.
she's probably like, shoo, dodged a
Woo,
bullet.
I dodged a bullet with that one.
Yes. So I have a little known fact for you.
Okay.
Um, the voice of ET it was actually a person, and it was a woman, and her name was Pat Welsh. And Steven Spielberg auditioned a lot of people for
Okay.
this, for
Okay.
ET's voice, and he settled on, I should say settled, he chose Pat Welsh because of her very distinctive gravelly voice that she got thanks to smoking 2 packs a
No.
day,
Oh
which
my
is
goodness.
perfect for the '80s, but that's what
Yes.
gave her the gravelly voice,
It's
and
very distinct.
it's very distinct. I myself feel like I can do a little bit of an ET impression myself, and I've never smoked a pack, and even one ever. So, I
So
mean,
you're saying you could do an ET impression. All
yes.
right, let's hear
Okay.
it.
Um, Elliott.
Very good, very good.
Thank you very much.
One of the things that I heard when I was looking up some fascinating facts, I think this was in the documentary that I watched as well, is that Spielberg added in like cat noises, like meows to ET's voice. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Like you can hear the purr and stuff of the cat in his voice as he's talking.
Yeah, totally. I didn't know that, but you like thinking about it, I do remember there were like some kind of weird little noises that don't really sound human.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to know, and now I'm not going to be able to forget it.
Yep. Thanks for that earworm, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Let's talk about the cultural impact of ET because it was immense, right? It inspired everything from toys and video games to countless references in TV shows and other movies. It even had a re release in 2002 for its 20th anniversary. And they had digitally remastered some of the scenes and changed some things. And let me tell you, this was not well received from diehard ET fans. I mean, they were none too happy with this, right? As a matter of fact, Spielberg, after that release, went back to the original filming and the movie that he captured because he said it really did capture the culture of the times.
Yeah, don't fix it. Don't fix something that's not broken. Or can you share what are some things that they changed, or do you want to wait and we can talk
Well,
about that?
here's just an example while we're here. So, at the very end of the movie, spoiler alert if you haven't seen ET, at the very end of the movie, when they have that great bike chase, the
Yeah.
all of the law enforcement people in the original movie had rifles and guns like on the kids, and
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
changed it to walkie talkies during the actual, re-digitalized version. And look, guns were a part of the culture then. It wasn't frowned upon to see law enforcement with guns, and so they just went back to the way he originally made it, and it everybody thinks it was pretty perfect.
Well, it's also more high stakes if you've got guns, like,
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna,
walkie-talkie
I'm gonna call some more people on my way
right, like,
home.
the walkie-talkie is not gonna, hurt you, like,
Right.
it's not like it's a super dangerous situation, it doesn't make it as, like, risky and as, like, scary, so, definitely. Okay, I gotcha. If there's any you can think of when we go through that
Yeah,
you remember.
I'll try to remember.
Okay, here is a really fun fact, okay? This is bananas. Product placement. Y'all probably
Yes.
already know what I'm about
Yes,
to
I
say.
know where you're going.
Uh-huh. So, y'all, M&M's had the chance to be ET's favorite candy. They went to M&M's and said, "Knock, knock. M&M's, we're doing this movie and we're creating this movie and we need a candy to be ET's favorite." And they were like, we're good. We'll
Mm,
pass.
mm.
It's like Julia Roberts and
I was
Pretty
gonna
Woman.
say, insert a Pretty Woman quote here. Huge mistake.
Big
Big
mistake,
mistake.
huge mistake. And that was a huge mistake because they said, all right, well, I guess we'll go ask Hershey's with Reese's Pieces. You know what I found out? Yes. You know what I found out was so funny? I
What?
said Reese's Pieces the other day, and the people I was with, they thought it was so funny. And they said, "Oh my gosh, you say Reese's Pieces too." And I said, "Well, isn't that what everybody says?" And they kind of laughed and they're like, "No, some people say Reese's Pieces and some people say Reese's Pieces, but I say Reese's Pieces."
I say
Anyway,
Reese's Pieces.
okay. So the reason this was such a big mistake, if you know anything about the movie and if you remember anything from that time period, this blew up Reese's Pieces
Yes.
and their sales reportedly skyrocketed by 65% after the film's release.
Crazy. Talk about profit. right? Profit
It's
margin going up.
opportunity.
Okay,
Mistake.
opportunity, right. Okay. So, I told you to get some Reese's Pieces and some M&Ms and let's do a challenge. Let's taste it. So, let's start with our Reese's Piece. Let's taste one.
We're starting with the Reese's.
Starting with the Reese's. I like it. I like a Reese's Piece. Mhm. It's
They
good.
just don't have the sweetness that I need.
All right, I'm going to compare it to an M&M. Have you got an M&M? Here we go. I think you're right. The M&M is sweeter, but
The candy shell is better too. Sorry, it is.
well, but this is so peanut buttery. The Reese's Pieces candy is very peanut buttery, and so it has that strong taste that obviously ET loved.
Well, here's the thing. If it's so peanut buttery, then it's probably can be considered a health food because it's got a lot
Mhm.
of protein.
Yeah, we like to think that way, don't we, sister?
Maybe
Um,
that's why ET liked it so much.
Maybe so. It gave him protein.
Yeah.
Talking about this product placement, most people think that this was like the first product placement, and
Mhm.
that's not true. There had been product placements in movies and TV shows back into the early 40s, but it was probably the most popular product placement. And so there's a distinction there.
Cool.
All
Yeah, I
right.
mean, yeah. Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep, set the
Okay.
scene for
Here we go. It's 1982. Do you like how I changed my voice for that? It's 1982. The
it.
world is a different place. And Sony has just released the first, I guess you'd call it DVD player, right? And
Well, it was a CD player though, right? And I remember,
yes,
yeah. So I was gonna tell you that I remember. I don't remember what year it was. We were really young, or I was really young when we got our first CD player. It was my first CD player, I guess, but it was nothing like CD players are when we think of them now. It was this tall, like tower of.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that had just come out. The Commodore 64 computer hit the market, which changed home computing forever, right? Like no more typewriters and whiteout. And movies, the big movies that were coming out at that time were like Blade Runner and Tron, right? They were making waves and they were really pushing boundaries for science fiction and special effects.
Which fits perfectly with ET. But real quick, one thing about the Commodore 64 computer, when you said that about typing, do you remember how we had those old printers and the printer paper with the holes and it would like do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
of course.
Holes on the side, like the computer printer
Yes.
paper. It was so like digital looking.
Yeah.
Very old school.
Very
All
old
right.
school.
So amidst all this happening, ET arrives in theaters, capturing the hearts of audience everywhere. And even though it has this element of science fiction and special effects, it is truly a story of
Yeah.
friendship, adventure, and the belief in something greater than ourselves.
Yeah. And speaking of theaters, right? It arrives in theaters. I didn't see this in the theater, right? As a matter of fact, I didn't see it until 1989, a year after it came out on VHS, right? But it was 6 years to get that movie to VHS, which, if you think about how we see movies now, we can actually stream a movie while it's in theaters. But I actually didn't see it until I was dating, almost engaged to my now husband. And it was one of his favorite movies. And on Halloween of 1989, I watched E.T. for the first time. So I didn't see it in theaters. What about you, sister?
I I thought about this. I do not remember my specific theater experience with ET like I do with some of the movies when I was younger. But because I was, I think, 5 at this time. So I don't remember it specifically, but I know that I saw it before 1988. I know I was younger than that. And if
Yeah,
that's the case, I had to see it at the theater. Now, this movie was out at theaters for over a year. So,
yeah,
like, even though I was 5 when it came out, I could have seen it in a theater when I was 6, 6 and a half, right?
yeah, yeah,
So, I did see it in a theater. I just don't remember it specifically. I do remember, seeing it in my older years, but it was like I'd seen it already.
yeah.
So,
And I'll just say, like, I was a press pot brand new teenager as it was coming out, and I wasn't into science fiction or alien or any of those like special effects that, and also I might have thought it was a kiddie movie. So it wasn't my jam in 1982, but I
you
I
didn't know
have to say, as we begin to like walk through it now, I really appreciated it a lot more, um, in this rewatch even than I did in 1989.
Yeah, I was gonna say you didn't know what you were missing.
Right, right.
All right, well, let's dive in and revisit the enchanting world of E.T., the extraterrestrial. Our story begins on a quiet night in a dense forest. A spaceship quietly, very quietly, I will add, descends and lands, revealing a group of extraterrestrial botanists collecting plant specimens.
Those were
Suddenly,
some weird looking plants.
well, and extraterrestrials.
Yes.
Suddenly, bright lights and sounds of vehicles signal the approach of government agents, we're led to believe. And in this chaos, one little alien is left behind as the spaceship takes off, leaving the stranded creature alone on Earth.
Before I shift to the next scene, I'm going to share with you, do you know the word alien is not used in the entire movie? They say extraterrestrial, they say spaceman, but they do not say alien.
I wonder if that has something to do with it not wanting him to be like scary or so. I don't know. That's
Yeah, maybe
interesting.
so. Maybe
But it
so.
makes it makes sense when you know the movie. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So from that scene, we shift to a nearby suburban neighborhood where we meet the Taylor family. 10-year-old Elliott Taylor. Notice why I said that slowly. Elliott Taylor. What do you notice, sister?
E.T.
Yes, his initials are ET, right? So even from their name, they're connected, which we'll see play out. But he's played by Henry Thomas. And Elliot lives with his older brother, Michael, who's portrayed by Robert McNaughton. His younger sister, Gertie, as we talked about earlier, is brought to life by a young Drew Barrymore and a single mother, Mary, played by Dee Wallace, who was a legend in movies in the 80s, right? But in this scene, we see that while aliens were arriving just miles away, Big Brother Michael is having a party with some friends. And can we just talk for just a second about what we see in this scene of the party?
Um, we see the quintessential 80s kitchen.
We do. Orange, avocado.
It looks like our old kitchen.
It does look like our old kitchen. It
I mean,
very
as far
much
as the
reminded me
decor
of our old kitchen. But that's
and
not what came to my mind first. What came to my mind first is something Pat Welsh might have loved was the smoke everywhere. The house is full of smoke. And the thing about it is the mom's not smoking. And or if she is, she's got like one cigarette going somewhere in an ashtray, right? But the kids aren't smoking, but the smoke is like filling the room.
it's like smoke for days. It's like a fog machine, but
It
it's just
really
smoke.
is. It
But I
really
was
is.
also thinking that's probably what our house was like. And I would go to school and people would open my backpack and it would be like smoke would come out
But
because
do you know what? Back in the day, everybody smoked. And so you didn't notice it like you do now, right? Because I know, like, when I was teaching school in the 90s, I definitely, if a student came in and unzipped their backpack, I could tell if it was a house that was smoked in. But back then, we were all just so used to it.
They were smoking at schools,
Oh,
teachers.
teacher's lounge. You'd go knock on the door to see your teacher and you would look into the teacher's lounge. You literally couldn't see the teacher if she was on the other end of the room because the room was so thick. All the teachers smoking during recess in the teacher's lounge, right?
Yes.
Oh my
Whoa.
God.
There's one other thing I wanted to ask you about Dee Wallace because you mentioned she was such a popular actress in the 80s. She was the mom in Cujo, right?
The mom in Cujo, she was the woman from The Howling where people like changed into werewolves. Yeah, like she was a big actress in the 80s.
Like she seems like she's always like the stressed out mom, stressed out single
Oh,
mom or
she's
whatever.
sure the stressed out single mom in this one. Okay. So Elliot wants to play with, Michael and his friends, and he's told he can play the next round of, I believe they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, if he goes outside and grabs a pizza from the delivery boy. And it's really dark on that street, isn't it? While he's outside, Elliot hears strange noises coming from the tool shed. And as he's investigating, he discovers some footprints and a mysterious creature. And terrified, he runs back inside, telling everyone what he just saw, but no one believes him.
I have to interrupt you.
Okay, go.
I'm feeling Elliot right now so much. This is literally me. I'm like, can I play? Can I play? Can I play? And y'all would be like, sure, after you go out down the street and pick up the pizza. Like,
We
no,
mistreated you.
yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry. I'm sorry. But so he comes back in, nobody believes him, but he can't shake his curiosity. So he heads out to the cornfields that are right by his house and he comes face to face with ET.
I thought you were about to say with Malachi.
I have to say it definitely gave me Children of the Corn vibes, which I did
What?
see in theaters and it scared the ever living life out of me.
Why is there a cornfield? Is this California? Is it Nebraska? It's like you
I
think
thought
it's
it was
LA,
California.
but you think it's LA when he looks over into the city, but then we're in a cornfield. I'm just so confused.
Yeah,
We don't
I know.
really know where it is.
I know we don't.
All right. Well, the next morning, Elliot is just now he's determined. He's going to find out more. So he heads out and he's like, I'm going to find this creature, this extraterrestrial, this alien. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trap him with my Reese's Pieces because nobody can resist that little bite-sized piece of peanut butter protein.
That's right.
So he's like that. He's probably starving. So he takes his bag of Reese's Pieces and heads out on his bike, as we did in the 80s. Well, everyone but you. And he's like, I'm gonna find him and lure him back to my house. So he leaves a little trail of Reese's Pieces, and nothing happens that day. But that night, he is fallen asleep in a chair out in the backyard, which I was kind of like, okay. But he
That's
falls asleep in
scary.
the chair, yeah, in his backyard, and the alien, sure enough, has followed the trail, picking up the Reese's Pieces along the way, and he comes face to face with ET and or this creature, and he names him ET. And ET drops some of the Reese's Pieces down to show him, like, yeah, I've been picking these up along the way.
Yeah. And Elliot manages to bring ET into his house by luring him with more Reese's Pieces and he hides him in his room. The
Yep.
next morning, what happens, Amanda?
So the next morning, after he is lured him back with the Reese's Pieces, Elliot wakes up and's like, I can't leave this guy here alone while I go to school. So I gotta pull a quick fakie on mom, and I gotta be sick. So he totally fakes that he's sick so he can stay home.
I totally got Ferris Bueller vibes there. Did you? Right? He's got his light that he's putting the thermometer up to get it hot, sticking the thermometer in his mouth, and his mom turns her back and he puts the heating pad on his head. Total Ferris Bueller vibes.
Absolutely. Even with the mom being like, "Oh, you poor baby, you're so hot."
Yes,
It's
yes.
the whole thing, and mom's like, "Gotta go to work, no TV today." Of course, little does she know that he's at home with ET. And so while they're home that day, they have the whole day together, and he's showing Elliot's showing ET his toys, and he's trying to communicate with him so they can understand each other. And during this time, this day, their bond between the two of them starts to grow stronger.
Yeah, and it's around the scene where Elliot shows ET the globe and says home, and then ET points outside the window and with his Jimmy Dean sausage finger says home, right?
Yes.
Anyway, right, that afternoon, Elliot decides when Michael and Gertie get home that he's going to reveal ET to them, but only after making them promise their most excellent promise not to tell, and also that he's in charge, right? He's in
Yes.
charge. And
Yes.
at first, Michael, the big brother, right? He's all cool. He's pretty skeptical, but he warms up quickly to this gentle and curious alien, while Gertie, much younger, is simply fascinated, right? And there's that famous scream when she first sees ET. That is, it's an iconic scene. But the three siblings vow to keep ET a secret from their mother and everyone else.
This is their first like glimpse we see of them kind of like coming together as siblings.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
In the
Yeah,
beginning, it's kind of we see that their families sort of um discombobulated.
yeah.
And so we start to see them come together here. Um So this is another cool trivia tidbit really quickly I wanted to add in while we're talking about cute Gertie and her scream. Um, this is another reason Steven Spielberg should have been best director. So
You can't give it up, can you? You just can't give it up.
I can't. Yeah, everybody, listeners, let's get that petition going. He intentionally, so Drew Barrymore thought ET was real. Bless her little heart. And
So sweet.
he intentionally wanted to keep her convinced of that because she was really developing this like love and kinship with ET. Even when she was on, it was like lunch break or whatever, and she would like go over and take her little lunch to sit by ET. He had the animatronics people still have ET like making reactions and responding to her. So even when they weren't actually filming, she would continue to believe that he was real.
That's
So
so
cute.
good. So good. Just a quick side note. She's got those cute piggy tails the whole movie. And if you
So
notice,
cute.
they are like slicked back and tight. And all I could think when I was watching her is how bad her head must have hurt at night when they took those out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
How
How
good it would feel to take them
anybody
out.
who's ever had a tight ponytail knows what we're talking about here.
I thought you were about to say it reminded you of Cindy Brady because it was
It
the same
did. Yes,
like
yes, she does. She's definitely reminds me of Cindy Brady here. All right,
with the
so ET starts exploring the house, right? He's causing minor chaos, but boy, he's endearing himself to the kids and they teach him basic words. Actually, Gertie is the one who says, I taught him to talk, right? And he's starting to use toys and he's watching television shows. And during this time, E.T. and Elliot develop a quite unique, really a telepathic connection, right? And it allows them to sense each other's emotions and even sense physical sensations, right? And we saw this a little bit earlier, like when they first met, all the way down to their initials, but it becomes more and more obvious.
Yeah, and I never this is an important part of the story, like, very important. I never caught on to this until as an adult when we just did the rewatch, even, like, on into the movie. I was like, "Oh." Like, this was something that was
Interesting.
not yeah, it didn't I didn't catch on to that quickly at all. So one day, E.T. sees a comic strip about a character phoning home, which gives him the idea to try to contact his spaceship, his
Mm.
family. So he begins constructing a communication device using all these random household items, including a speak and spell toy, which I had one. As soon as I saw that on the screen, it like unlocked a memory for me. It was so crazy.
Yes. And it's around this time in the movie that we hear that famous line, "E.T. phone home."
But it's not though, remember? Because the first time he says, "ET home phone," and then they correct him that it's
Yes,
ET phone home, and then from then on out, it's
you're
ET phone
right. But the famous line
is
is "E.T.
yes,
phone home." Okay.
yes.
So meanwhile, the government agents, they're led by a figure known only as Keys, and he's
Wait, what do you
given
mean a figure? Like,
a,
but a man,
a man because
a
we can't
person.
see their
Okay.
faces, remember? And he's given this name because they show him only by his keychain, right? We don't see his face until near the end. He is portrayed by Peter Coyote, and he and the other officials are continuing to search for that alien that they were looking for that night. And they are picking up unusual energy readings from the forest and nearby areas. Amanda, they are getting closer to discovering ET's location.
I was like, do they have their houses bugged? I'm
I
not quite
know,
sure
I know. I guess
how
it's
this is
I'm
happening.
thinking it's like a metal detector, but maybe it's like an alien detector. Uh,
Okay, back at school. So now Elliot's like feels comfortable enough to leave ET home while he goes to school. So Elliot goes to school. And when he's there on this particular day, he is starting to exhibit strange behavior because of this telepathic bond he has with ET. They're in science class and they're um, participating in a class frog dissection. More on that. And ET is at home while Elliot's in this frog dissection. And ET gets a little thirsty, goes to the fridge. First thing he sees is a Coors Light, so why not?
Talk
Pops a
about
brewski,
product placement.
right? Pops a brewski and chugs it down. And this, because of how he starts feeling from the Coors Light, Elliot starts to experience those effects as well, but he's at school. And so
Right,
he's kind of sleepy and acting kind of weird. And this disrupts the class. And
right.
he begins to free the frogs that they were going to dissect. And also in this moment, he inadvertently kisses this girl that he's had his eye on throughout the movie. And he's kissing her and ET is mirroring that because he's watching a scene on TV, a romantic scene where people kiss. And so he's watching that and Elliot kisses this girl.
By the way, the scene he's watching is from a movie with John Wayne called The Quiet Man, which my husband Chris loves that movie. But there's a lot to unpack here, right?
Yes.
First of all, can we talk about the inhumane treatment of frogs? I mean, let's kill them in class.
It's
Like,
it's not a dissection, it's a murder. Like they're dropping poison cotton ball bombs into the jar to kill them. That's not a thing.
when we used to dissect animals, they came already embalmed and ready to dissect. We didn't murder them,
Even in the 80s.
even in the 80s. That's
Okay.
right. All right.
Okay.
So here is a fun fact: the girl he kisses in the credits of the movie, going back to Elliot kissing the girl, right? She is listed only as pretty girl. I mean, can they not give her a name?
It's better than just the girl.
The girl, or surely the ugly girl, but she is beautiful. As a matter of fact, her name, her real name is Erica Elenika. I think I might be pronouncing that right. I may
Ellen.
not. If you're
Okay.
listening, Erica, I'm sorry if I slaughtered your name. But this pretty girl grew up to be a pretty girl on Playboy magazine,
She was a pretty girl then.
obviously.
Well, I mean, Erica. Definitely said her name. Erica, if you're listening, we'd love to talk to you about it. All right. So determined to help ET contact his home planet, the children decide to take ET out on Halloween night. They devise a plan and they disguise him as a ghost. So they're like tricking the mom into thinking that they're taking Gertie out, but they're really taking ET out. So he's got his sheet on and he looks like a ghost and he's blending in with the other trick or treaters. And under the cover of darkness, they make their way to the forest. ET uses his makeshift communication device to try to send a signal, and he's hoping that his family, his species, will receive the signal and come pick him up. Now,
Yes.
did you notice, sister, that so remember I just said that they switch, right? So ET had on the costume so that mom
Yeah.
thought it was Gertie.
Right.
Meanwhile, Gertie is waiting up in this like up on this hill in the forest all alone in her costume, and she's all of what, like 5 or 6? What's
Yes.
going
I
on here?
I don't know. Stranger danger was just not a thing, a part of this movie for sure.
I
But
was like, "This poor girl."
yeah, did you notice that the Halloween scene includes a nod to Star Wars when a child is dressed as Yoda and ET actually reacts as if he recognizes the character? So who knows? Maybe they met in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes, sister, that was super cute,
So cute.
and I know that, Spielberg was a big fan of
Yeah.
Star Wars, so, yeah, that was really cute. That was a cute little a cute touch. So as the day passes, um, ET and Elliott's health begin to deteriorate. Um, their psychic bond is taking a toll on them both, which I didn't really understand, but they're both sick. ET's condition worsens significantly, and it becomes clear they need some extra help.
Yes. And then one morning, government agents finally traced those strange readings to Elliott's house. They storm in and they capture ET. They quarantine the house. They convert it into like a makeshift laboratory. It literally looks like something with all the like clear plastic, Amanda. It looks like something from the Boy in the Bubble movie with John Travolta, right? And it's like
Yes.
they're welding things. Like it is legit scientific work going on
Well,
there, right?
but wait, the guys, they're like astronauts, like 100% legit helmet, jetpack, white marshmallow suit, astronaut.
Yes. Yes. And it's like they walk in like Frankenstein, like they're intentionally being scary, right? I don't know if that's for the family or for the alien or for the viewer, right? But they're intentionally coming in really scary. But
Yes.
the scientists began to get ET and examine him, and they're just fascinated but also alarmed at this other world physiology, right? They're learning it. But despite their efforts, ET's health continues to decline and he appears to die. Elliot is heartbroken and he feels an immense loss because their bond is severed. I have to say, Amanda, I told you I wasn't into this back when I watched it. Even in 1989 with my husband Chris, I fell asleep that Halloween night, like on his couch watching this movie. But really dissecting this movie and watching how the emotion played out, at 1 hour and 33 minutes in, when Elliot was begging him not to leave, Mom and Gertie are in the background crying, and he's, saying, "Don't leave me, don't leave me." I was bawling here myself.
I know. It was really sweet and
Yeah.
emotional and very moving, and I think
Yes.
it all goes back to the decisions he made around filming from the kid's perspective, filming in chronological order, helping,
Yeah. Brilliant.
thought it was real, just all of these connections they were making up into this point really, fed into the power of this moment.
Yeah.
Really sweet. Um, it was really amplified though by the use of the practical effects of puppetry again, so the young actors could interact with ET as a tangible presence.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the CGI stuff today, it's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
It is, and actually, like when you think about, I don't know, just we're talking about Star Wars, it comes to mind, like you think about like in the newer Star Wars, prequel Star Wars, whatever, it do you think about like Jar Jar Binks and he is CGI
Yeah.
and it's just different.
Yeah, it's
It's
much more real, much
it's
more realistic, don't you think?
with ET. Yeah.
Yes,
Like an
yes,
actual being there.
yes,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
absolutely.
And
Okay,
for the actors, of course.
yeah. Okay, so let's continue.
Okay.
Now, Keys, right? We've seen him as Keys this whole time. And by the way, he turns out to be a good guy. He
Totally.
gives Elliot some time alone to say goodbye to ET. But in a dramatic turn of events, how do you like how I said that? A dramatic turn of events, right?
Spot on. Spot
He
on.
thinks he's saying goodbye, but ET's heart light begins to glow again, signaling his revival. Elliot is overjoyed and determined to save his friend, so he devises a plan with Michael to help ET escape from the scientists and the doctors. And they enlist the help of Michael's friends to create a diversion.
This was another cool moment when the brothers made a connection to
Yes.
work together because in the
Yes.
beginning it was like, no, you can't play with us, go get the pizza,
Right.
we'll be cool. And here it's like they're all coming together to work together again. This like disconnected family is becoming more and more connected
Yeah.
through experience with ET.
True.
So this is really a thrilling escape because they've made this plan and the children with ET in tow. I say in tow, they've got him in their little basket in the front.
Basket of the bike.
So cute. It's like a milk crate. It's so cute. They manage to evade the government agents. They flee on their bicycles. They're racing towards the forest. And this is like a really cool scene. They have you can see them like going over the dirt hills and like doing all these cool bike tricks, which for kids in the 80s, that was
So cool.
everything. So
Yes,
cool.
yes.
I
I
mean,
mean,
we were
not
just
for
like,
me because I didn't ride a bike, which, by the
absolutely.
way, I know you were trying to get a dig in earlier about that, but you're right. It was a big thing for everybody else.
Yeah, like I guarantee you people would after this movie went home in their neighborhood and they played ET and they were
Oh,
like
yeah.
running from the government agents or whatever on their bikes, 100%. So super super cool moment there and this was so great. This is the moment I think
It
when you
is.
were
I was
talking
about to
about.
say, this is the part I was talking about where they
Yeah.
replaced the guns with the walkie talkies.
Yeah, super lame. So they are riding their bikes and they're getting close and you see them riding their bikes on the street and they're coming up to this like barricade of law enforcement and
Yes.
you're like there's no way they're going to get through this. They've got the guns, they've got like literally all these police cars and all of a sudden ET uses his telekinetic powers to lift all the bikes into the air. I mean just like whoosh and they fly through the air flying them over the treetops into the forest and to safety.
Yeah. And this iconic flying bicycle scene became one of the most memorable image in cinematic history. And actually, the Amblin Entertainment logo immortalizes it even today.
Yeah, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Even people I think who aren't like super into ET or really familiar, they know that that's what
Yeah.
it is. So when they reach the forest clearing, this is where the spaceship is scheduled to arrive, and the spaceship lands, and ET's fellow aliens prepare to bring him home. And in a poignant farewell, E.T. and Elliot share a really tender moment, and E.T. touches with his little sausage finger, touches Elliot's forehead and says, I'll be right here, indicating their enduring connection.
Yeah, and this is important because it's one of the first things that Elliot said to ET when he brought him home. When he went to get him some food, he
Yep.
said, like, don't worry, right? I'll be right back. But he actually said, I'll be right here. And so it's a full circle moment. And speaking of that, as E.T. is saying goodbye to Gertie, he says, "Be good," which are some of the first words that he learned when she was teaching him how to talk. I just love a full circle moment. How do you?
I love a full circle
I
moment, and
love a full
I loved
circle moment.
your little impersonation that you just tried to throw in there. Had to fly it under the radar, but I heard you.
This is
Yeah,
really cool. The film's ending was reshot to include E.T.'s glowing heart as he departs. And what Spielberg did this for was to add an extra emotional layer to the farewell scene.
that was a good choice.
It was a good choice.
A really sweet part. So ET boards the spaceship and ascends into the night sky, leaving a rainbow trail as the final farewell. The children watch in awe and sadness, knowing their lives have forever been changed by their, instead of extraterrestrial, their extraordinary friend.
Oh, I like that. And there you have it, right? I mean, that's the magical story of E.T., the Extraterrestrial, a film that not only captured the imagination of audiences around the world, but it also showcased, right? It really put on full display the incredible bond of friendship and the healing power of love. And I have to say that that final scene when the spaceship is taking off, I have to ask you, sister, did you notice the family was all there and Keys was right there standing next to mom? I can't help but think there may be more love in the future. Maybe Keys might become the new dad.
Yeah, when you said the healing power of love, I was like, well, speaking of love, like, this is like,
Mary the mom is gonna
yeah,
maybe find some love.
yeah, move over bacon. So, yeah, I totally noticed that, and it's like, I think a little bit of foreshadowing if there were to be a sequel.
Yeah.
All right, so what are your thoughts now that you've seen it again? I think as we watch our movies and we talk about these movies from the 80s, which were just so legendary, we've got to think, do they stand the test of time? What do we think about them now that we've seen them again and we haven't seen them in so many years?
Well, I have to say, I loved it. I loved it more than I've ever loved it before. I loved watching ET bring this dysfunctional family together. I loved that the largest action scene was a bike chase, right? I just there you didn't have to have all the lasers and the fighting and the
Blow ups and
yes,
the
all of that
shoot 'em
kind of stuff
ups.
to make such a great movie. And so to me, I mean, it exceeds what we see now. Like it was great. What
It
about
has
you?
a little something for everyone.
Yes.
And it's like,
Yes.
honestly, you're talking about, because we know it had some incredible special effects, but it didn't need all of that other, like,
Yeah.
other stuff because the story was enough.
Yes, the story that's perfect. Perfectly said, sister. The story was enough.
Mhm. And, so, yeah, I think that that's a great point. I definitely it stood the test of time for me 100%. I thought it was great. I love that I picked up on so many things that I did not understand when I was younger.
Yeah.
It really kind of opened my eyes to a lot of what this film was really about.
Yeah.
Um, it was really fun also researching all the cool things. And again, I will say one more time for the folks in the back,
Mhm.
Steven Spielberg should have won Best Director. All right, y'all. So if you are needing a little bit of a good heart story, a little feel good story, we encourage you to grab some popcorn, grab some Reese's Pieces
Reese's Pieces.
or Reese's Pieces, however you say it, and revisit this sweet, sweet movie.
Yes, as our mom would say, they just don't make them like they used to, right? And speaking of that, we hope you'll join us next time on Real Sisters Rewind back to the 80s as we explore another cinematic gem from the greatest decade of movies the 80s. Thanks for taking the time to rewind with us today. We loved revisiting these classics with you.
And if you've enjoyed season 1 and haven't left us a 5-star rating and review yet, we'd be so grateful if you did. It really helps more than you know.
We'll be back soon with brand new episodes and fresh picks for season 2. But until then,
keep enjoying the reruns and keep it real.